Let me lay out a scenario for you. You've decided to take initiative and you want to hit the road. Maybe you do it in something smaller like what we have, or maybe you're in something a little bit bigger like a Class A or even a fifth wheel. And in this particular scenario, let's pretend that you're traveling with another person, either a close friend or maybe even a spouse. It's your first or second day on the road and it's been going well enough, but it's starting to get late and you need to think about finding camp for the night. Maybe you're going to stay on some public land, maybe a truck stop or a roadside table, or maybe even in an RV park. You get to where you're going and it's time to set up, and now you're trying to communicate with a person who could be 30, 40, even 50 feet behind you. You're trying to hear them over the sound of the engine and squeaking brakes. It's starting to get dark. You're a little bit hungry, nerves are starting to fray a little bit, and before you know it, you're starting to attract some attention because of all of the shouting. If you're listening to this scenario and it's making your blood pressure go up a little bit, it's probably because there's a very good chance you've been in a situation exactly like this once or twice. And what I'm going to recommend to you in this video could save your sanity and potentially even your marriage. When Stuart and I first started our road life journey, we were in something a lot bigger than what we have now. We were in a 30-foot travel trailer, which was way bigger than what we needed. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody recommended to us that we invest in a pair of handheld walkie-talkies so that we would be able to communicate in situations just like the one that I described to you. We did a little bit of research, read some reviews, looked through some different products with different specs, and ultimately settled on what you see here, the Cotre handheld two-way radio from Amazon, which retails for around $26. We went with this particular model for a couple of reasons. The first was honestly the price point. Radios can get really, really expensive. You can spend thousands of dollars on them if you want to, and given that it was going to be our first radio set, we didn't want to break the bank. But we felt confident in our decision because the reviews were really, really good. Everybody said that they worked great, lasted a long time, and held a charge, which were really the three things that we wanted. And now, after using this particular handheld set for almost 3 years, I feel pretty qualified in reviewing it and recommending it to people. So if you were to buy this particular radio set, it would come just like this in a cradle with a USB charger on the back so that you can charge the rechargeable batteries in the radios. The radios came with 6 rechargeable AA batteries, and I actually just replaced them for the first time earlier this week, but they lasted and continued to hold a charge pretty well for about 2.5 years before we started to notice a little bit of decline in performance and decided to swap them out with some different batteries, which just happens. But given the fact that they lasted for almost 3 years, I think that's pretty good. The radios are pretty basic and simple to operate. There's a power button, a menu and lock button, a monitor and scan button, and then a really handy little light. It says lamp, and if you press the button, it will illuminate a little light, which I've honestly used before inside the interior of a dark vehicle if I needed to find keys or something like that. The talk button is on the side. You press and hold and talk. It's a typical walkie-talkie. It has a clip on the back, which I really, really like. I've used it in a couple of different scenarios, and I've never had an issue with the clip coming loose or the walkie-talkie falling from wherever I clipped it. If you've been watching my YouTube videos for a little while, there is a 100% chance that you saw Stuart and I use these walkie-talkies at least once or twice. We use them at least once a week anytime we break camp and go somewhere and then come back. It's just really helpful to have a good way to communicate with the person who's in the truck and the person who is running back and forth, checking level and everything else. We've also taken these walkie-talkies hiking a few times, and on hikes where we've done longer days and maybe had to split up once or twice to go do different things, it's been really important to have a way to communicate, and these have a really solid range. Obviously, if you're down in a valley and the person you're trying to communicate with is on the other side of a mountain, they're not going to work so well, but I did notice in the product description that the radio boasts something like a 32-mile range peak to peak. So it is really, really solid, and we've never been in a situation where we flat out could not communicate unless we were just miles and miles apart. I like the fact that it's a bright color. You're not going to lose it as easily as you would some of the other models I've seen that are like an OD green or black. And I've been able to just clip it right to my backpack when we've been hiking, and it's never been an issue and it's never gotten in the way. One other thing that I should mention, even though I've never used it, it does have a headphone jack in the top so that you can do like a hands-free communication type thing. I know that as far as product reviews for road life and outdoor recreation is concerned, walkie-talkies are a little bit more on the basic end, but I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that these radios have saved our sanity in more than one occasion and kind of allowed us to keep a little bit more of a cooler head than we otherwise would have if we were screaming at each other, fighting to be heard over the sound of an engine and other ambient background noise. There have also been situations where if we've been traveling with somebody else, it's been really, really nice to give them the other radio so that we had a quick and easy way to communicate besides just picking up a cell phone, especially because there have been a lot of times where we've been in parts of the country where we didn't have good enough cell reception, and picking up the phone and calling the other person really wasn't like a practical option. And so these radios come in really handy in that case too. At this point, this whole entire set just sits in the cab of my truck on the floor with its charger ready to go, because that's pretty much the time when we would use it the most. And it's been really, really convenient, really, really awesome. When I was thinking about what kind of product I wanted to review first for this midweek series that I am doing, this was honestly the first thing that came to mind. It's kind of basic, but it's entry level and it's reliable, and it's something that I can see a lot of people using in a number of different applications and it really coming in handy for them. If you are interested in checking out this radio or any of the other radios that Amazon recommends, I will put a link down below in the description. If what you're looking for is reliability and simplicity in use, then I can't really think of another option that would be better. I've used a lot of different radios, both in the civilian world and then back in the day when I was in the military, and there's a wide range of differences in how they operate, and obviously there's some user preference there as well, but speaking from personal experience for myself and Stuart and anybody else we've ever given these radios to, they work great and we like them a lot, and I highly recommend them. So you'll have to let me know down in the comments what you think of this recommendation. Do you agree with the things that I was saying? Do you disagree? Is there another product that you like more? I'm curious to know your thoughts, so make sure you let me know down in the comments below. And if there's another product that you would like to see me discuss, make sure you recommend that as well. I am planning on reviewing lots of different things moving forward, and if there's something that you would like to know more about, let me know. Anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of the other content that I'm doing. I'm kind of splitting things up a little bit on my channel, doing a mix of vlogs and videos like this. So if you want to see more of that, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing, and I'll see you for the next video.